Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are taking on Dare to Defy, or not Dare to Defy, Dimensions and Reprise Stage 10. And I didn't find this fight to be too hard. What I did was I read the boss info a little bit, and I just noticed that like they're full elemental lockout except for dark, and then I think non-elemental characters are fine as well. So I'm like, I just brought Setzer and Auron because they're boosted, so I can just keep reusing them. So I'm like, if I can use reusable characters, I might as well do that. And I feel like Auron and Setzer are just like, you can just staple them in because they're pretty much good in any situation. There's not really too many situations that they're not good, right? And then I've kind of just been using my slot 3 to meet whatever force condition I need to. So here I brought Sice because Sice is dark damage and would fulfill the need to like cancel out their force stuff or whatever. Well, it turns out I didn't really have to cancel anything here. We just do the fight and it kind of just works out fine. But I thought Sice worked out kind of nice because we can do like an Auron force here. And Sice's off turn, I believe, counts as melee damage. So I think it triggers with Auron's FR. So I'm like, yeah, Sice is actually a nice little pairing here. We can do with Auron. Auron will do the nice off turn. And what's nice is that, Sice is a little bit of an older FR character. She doesn't have Echo, but then Setzer's going to make her look good because he's going to have his BT effect up, which gives you the max HP damage, and you can get rainbow numbers. And Setzer's abilities that way work really well with like kind of these trap-based characters, because sometimes the traps maybe don't do a lot of brave hits or the characters are a little bit weaker. Well, this is nice because we're going to be getting cap damage on a lot of these trap hits. All of Auron's counters will be hitting really good damage, right? Setzer himself will be doing good damage. So yeah, I thought this was just kind of like a fun setup to try out. And so that's what we kind of went with here. So this is a 3-wave fight. So you'll notice the enemies are like super squishy. They're going down like really fast without even doing a force time. So my thought here was maybe I would just kind of get this first phase done, and then maybe during phase 2 I would go into a force time. And this is one too where depending on how quick they go down, will determine whether I'm going to do like a mini force and then a full force, right? Now, what ends up happening, I don't remember if it happens on like phase 2 or phase 3, but not on this phase. One of the later phases, they do start to put up like some meaty shields. The thing is we still do HP damage because of Setzer's BT effect. So maybe the shields are normally like really hindering, but I didn't really feel it because Setzer just kind of like lets you play the game through mechanics, which, the reason why Setzer and Auron I think are such great pickups for Reprise, and I think part of the reason what they're doing with Reprise too, is they are, I think that's a good way for them to push characters like Auron and Setzer, because they are just characters that are going to work good in so many fights, and because they're not getting locked out, it does make them very desirable to get. So I could definitely see if there were players that were maybe struggling with Reprise, that maybe we're going to skip Auron or Setzer. I could see players like maybe being like, maybe I want to go back in and get them because they want to beat Reprise, right? Now, right now, you can see we're dealing... Oh, so they do the shields right now. So you can see we are doing 0 HP damage through the shields, so you have to kind of get rid of the shields first. But that's because we did not put up Setzer's BT effect up yet. So I think we are going to put it up soon, though. I probably should have just put it up sooner, just hoping I could gamble for like a long burst time, but what I find is like a lot of these fights, even if Setzer only gets it for 6 turns, it typically doesn't run out anyways, because of how, beefy we get with all the force damage and things that we can do, right? Alright, so the tornadoes now are hitting pretty good because we got rid of the shields, which is nice. And, Sice has the dodge mechanic, but it doesn't really matter. Like, her dodge does come into play because the enemies will start to do a lot of all attacks. But anything single target or on stealing the hits anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. They do put a nasty debuff on, and I think they're trying to sell Vice here a little bit. So you can see a couple of my characters there, they have the death debuff. And you'll notice Sice never gets it because she's got evasion on all the time. But it's very common that Auron and Setzer get the death debuff, and what the death debuff does is, after it pops, basically it instant breaks the character and delays them, which we actually like that. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. You can break me all day. Give yourself more turns for Auron's counters to go off. So yeah, Auron just fit the bill so well in this fight because the enemies do get fairly aggressive. There's the death, and it broke us. So yeah, we're like, okay, that's fine. You can push us back a little bit. But yeah, the enemies are doing a lot of debuffing, so they're probably trying to push Vice here. But I'm like, I'll save Vice, because he's pretty versatile. He's a character that you also could use anywhere. It says he does actually get locked out here. So that is the one thing that kind of threw me off. I kind of assumed that all the new banner characters that came out with these, they would be featured, but they're not doing that. So it's only certain characters that are actually like boosted throughout the whole thing. And for all I know, they're not going to add any more. So it might just be that core of what we've got. What is it, like Bartz and Dorgan, Auron, Setzer, characters like that. Those are the ones that you can like kind of keep reusing. Because the big thing is like, because they didn't add Rem to that list, right? And Rem would have been a really nice one, because there isn't really like, I guess Bartz would be the closest thing to like a support character in terms of like he's got good auras, but there isn't like a good like traditional support character that you can reuse. So they're probably doing that intentionally. But like I said, I think this is working out just fine, because I know like for my account, like normal Dare to Defy, I can use triple teams, everybody locked out all the way through, and I'm fine. So for me, the fact that there aren't as many Shinryus in this, and I can just reuse characters, means I really don't need to stress about it. And I kind of like this idea of like just bringing my third character to kind of fit the theme of the fight, whether they get locked out or not. And then yeah, just Auron and Setzer will just do their thing. It's really nice. Very, very nice indeed. All right, so we got to get these 2 heads down, and then we go to the last phase, which is just 1 head. The thing is as I go through, they don't really seem to be much tankier. Like, they still go down pretty dang quick. So, like, as this one's going, you know, I'm at 100%. I'm like, you know what? I think we got Auron up here, and, like, they're about to attack 50 million times. So my thought is this might be the spot here to FR. So I think I do drop it right here. And we don't have Auron's burst effect up yet, but I think I like seeing the 4 enemies in front of me just made me scream like, yeah, I think we gotta drop the FR, because we're gonna get so much percentage from these enemies attacking us. So I thought this was a great place to drop it. Now that we drop this FR, you know, things are gonna go. And at this point, I'm like, you know, with how squishy these guys are, I probably can finish both phases, unless the last phase is like super, super squishy. I do remember doing this Shinryu before. I don't remember exactly like which event this came with, but I do remember doing this one previously. Who knows, this one might have been Sice's, because it is a dark damage event, so I don't know, but oh, actually no, was this the one with Dark Knight Cecil? This could be, it's either Dark Knight Cecil or Sice, I'm thinking. Maybe it was Shantado, I don't know. It's got to be for a dark damage dealer, but this fight didn't give me that much trouble at all. We were good. We were totally good here. So yeah, we're on turn 10. We decided to use Phantom Scythe just to refresh it to make sure we have dodging. Because the dodging, like I said, it does save Sice from taking all of these debuffs, which is pretty nice. But yeah, look at all the enemy turns. Like, I see this and I just get really excited when I got somebody like Auron on my team. I love seeing all these millions of enemy turns, for sure. And, you know, oh, and we don't even have Setzer BT effect up, so I think that's what's about to drop here. And look at all the enemy turns lined up. They got 6 turns coming. So we'll definitely take that. But yeah, I think here instead of Echo, we definitely got to get that BT effect going right away. And I'm like, all right, let's get lucky. Don't give me 6, don't give me 7. Those are the 2 most common numbers I see, are 6 and 7. Give me something a little bit better here. We like those rainbow numbers, though, for sure. Setzer is a very cool character. And he's FF6, you can't go wrong. So we got 8 turns, so it's like, sure, fine. I'll take 8 turns. I'll take 8. At this point, I think 8's going to get us all the way through. With how aggressive these enemies are, how few turns we're actually getting, like, our buffs are going to be lasting forever. That's like what's really nice about these, you know, when you get these aggressive fights with these defensive characters, you can just sit on a buff like forever. And I think on Auron's next turn, whenever it's going to come, we got to get his BT effect up as well. But yeah, I do really like Sice. She is a nice character. I would definitely take Echo on her, though. She's due. I'm trying to think if she's got it in JP. I don't remember if she does. If she's got her Echo. But yeah, these trap-based characters are pretty cool. And this is why I love this type of content, too. It's just like, it gets me to break out some characters I haven't used in a while, right? Like, haven't used Sice in a long time. It's nice to break her out here. You know, it's like, why did I pull for her? Why did I invest in her? It's nice to be able to use her more than a few times. You know, it's so common, though. Like, there's such a large roster in the game. Like, you can't just use every character all the time, right? And, like, you really want to... I'm someone that I like to just stop the game and make it as easy as possible, and that's typically with the newest characters, and I pull a lot. So I'm always kind of running what's new. But you can definitely get by with budget builds, especially like off turn is a great way to get by budget, like without Echo. Those types of characters like Rydia, Sice, like some of these non-Echo characters, like they can definitely, like Celis, these are characters that can do some nasty things without Echo and get through some fights. So they are good invest characters for sure. But yeah, seeing these guys at like 12% already and we're only on turn 8 of Force tells me that I think we can get through the whole thing just fine. Here I'm thinking, let's just do a big attack and blast them. Like, I kind of don't want to delay them there, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, I think they're just going to die. Pretty darn close to it. Yeah, because, like, the counters are just going to go off here and they're going to die. Alright, so left enemy is dead. We just got to do the right enemy, and then, once again, the last phase is just going to be a single head. But yeah, being that we're on turn 7 here, he's going to counter himself to death. I'm thinking, yeah, there's a realistic shot here that we're just going to get this done in the one force. I don't think I'm going to have to go into another one, which is good because I don't have a force charger, so it is kind of nice just to get it done at once. I kind of wish this fight was reversed, where it started with 1 and it worked its way up to 3, because then, like, at the end of the fight, when it's at its hardest, having 3 enemies is so good for, like, a counter character. So yeah, the only thing is, you know, Sice doesn't have Echo, so I'm just trying to press big buttons, do some damage. You know, we're not getting the gauge like crazy high. 600% is still pretty good. But it's like, alright, let's finally get Auron's BT effect up. Finally. In retrospect, I should have just popped this like way earlier in the fight, but that's fine. Because we could have been building up swords this whole time. We could have a few swords. But yeah, we already dropped 10% off of them, so relatively quick. So the thing with this team, other than Soar is probably like my best on-turn attack I can do with these 3 characters. But yeah, the off-turn just takes it, right? So I decided to be safe. I could have echoed there. I could have done something else, but I'm like, let's freeze them just to be safe, just because I wasn't sure if this last phase was going to try to do some really nasty stuff to me. And coming this far, like, I feel like the fight's almost won. I didn't want to risk losing it. So I thought it would be safe to put freeze on. Just make sure, it's kind of my safe way to get a look at what the boss is going to do without having to worry about dying, right? So, and these eerie sound waves, they're not HP attacks. He's just putting the death debuff on us, which is perfectly fine, right? Because in this game, death isn't actually death. It's just you get broken, which is not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I'm like, alright, let's pop the EX here, get some big damage out of Sice. See how 8 mil, it's solid for her, sure, we'll take it. You know, the tornadoes, they'll make up a lot of damage. And then here, I'm like, alright, we're turn 3, now we can start echoing. So this is where it's like you get to the feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can make it, I've only got 3 turns of force left, but it's like, hold up, we got some echo. The echo just really extended, and especially like when we're going to give the enemies some turns, right? And they're going to beat themselves up a little bit on Auron. That really helps too. So Auron, I'm like, yeah, I think we could echo. And then my hope is by the time Auron's next turn comes up, if we're still in force, we can hit a soar maybe. And soar off for some big damage. But yeah, to be able to use this kind of like, what, mid to early phase 2 and be able to finish the fight with it is pretty good. You guys can let me know like what kind of teams you tried for this fight. I feel like these Reprise fights, like, they haven't been that hard, and the enemies just aren't very tanky at all. Like, they go down pretty quick. So, I mean, I think it's fun, though, because I feel like then you can just play around with a lot of team comps and a lot of different units, which I like that. I don't mind if fights are a little bit easy once in a while. I'm someone that can go with the flow. Like, I'll take some periods of easier fights, I'll take some really hard fights, take some stuff in between. I just really enjoy playing the game and, like, using the characters, so that's all I care about. Alright, so Setzer and Barrett popping off here. I think this was an echo here, so we're going to stay at 2 here. Nice little, what, 17 mil shot we did there? Yeah, he's at 5%. We're at max gauge now. Still have 2 turns of force. Auron, I think it's time to soar. It is time to soar. So what do we got? Soar at a max gauge there. What, 16 mil? Sure, we'll take it. So anyways, guys, there you go. There's my There's my Dimensions and Reprise Stage 10 done. Let me know what team you used on this fight. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.